All right, let's set one up. We got 10 minutes. Who would ever think that you could set up a community in 10 minutes? Let's go do a brand new one.
That's crazy. Hey everyone, I'm Todd Nilson and I've been working as a community strategist since 2013. I'm starting a new video series where I'm walking through community platforms with the people who build them. But here's what makes this different. These aren't your typical marketing demos. Community platforms are a major investment. In each of these episodes, you'll get a real walkthrough of a platform with someone who knows it inside and out. But you'll also get my perspective as someone who's been through dozens of platform evaluations and launches. Subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. So let's figure out which community platforms are actually worth your time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you may happen to be. You've tuned into Clocktower Advisors Talk About Your Community. And in this special series, we're doing demos of community platforms, high and low, near and far. And today I'm very excited to be able to introduce you to Mr. Zach Hawtof, who's the CEO of Tightknit. Tightknit is a platform I've been aware of for some time, but I haven't had a chance to really dig into it. So I'm excited to roll up my sleeves and talk to you a little bit today, Zach, about your experiences building this software that's using the Slack platform is my understanding, and looking forward to understanding a little bit more about the inspiration behind that, and then asking, as I do in this series, all the questions that I would normally ask as a strategist on behalf of a customer who's thinking about using this for their enterprise, for their organization, for their nonprofit, to build a community around online. So welcome, Zach. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Todd. Excited to be here.
Yeah, man. We're going to definitely jump into the screen share and look at the platform and sort of how it works. But I would just like to ask a little bit about your background and the inspiration that led to the creation of Tightknit as a product. How did all this get started?
Yeah, I mean, like everybody is, hey, I accidentally fell into community. I also accidentally fell into community. So I started at Salesforce on the community cloud back in 2015. And if anyone in the group has worked with Salesforce, you know that it's mostly these very large implementations. So it was, we were working with Google and Disney and Home Depot's communities. And at the time in 2015, it was a really incredible piece of software. I mean, we were able to bring your CRM and your community together for the first time. Like that had never been done before.
All in the same stack, really.
Same stack. And a lot of it just exploded inside of Salesforce. And then it's kind of funny, like we acquired this company called Slack. And at the time, I was my team's Slack admin. So I was already a big Slack advocate. I was, so frustrated with the previous chat-based experiences. I think it's a little bit of the ADHD. I think we just gravitate to Slack in terms of how we want to communicate. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is like the best communication platform. We're obviously going to make it, into part of the next journey for Salesforce's communities product. This is back in 2020, mind you. And, it just didn't quite transpire internally. I think my next step from there, I actually left. I joined an AI company in the very earliest wave of the AI company wave. And that ended up, I ended up leaving that business before it got acquired, but it ended up becoming Agentforce at Salesforce. Sure. And so I've been just kind of like living around this ecosystem for quite a minute. And so when I left, I was like, all right, I really wanted to start something new. And I was like, I know three things really well. I know B2B, I know community, and I know AI. And I'm like, how do we go and build a great community platform? And so we did our research, we asked around, and we just kind of found that there was a key problem that always came up. People wanted to stay in Slack, but other community platforms were pitching them on events and gamification and all these things that they could get if they left Slack. Mm-hmm. And when they would leave Slack, they would lose so much engagement. It was basically like it turned from being inside of meeting your members where they are to meeting your members in their inbox. Yeah. And it just turned into this situation where folks would end up gravitating back and saying, look, I care more about the ability to communicate and collaborate. And so we said, all right, this is actually more of a technology problem than more people realize. So we said, let's go make a community platform for what at the time, and still is the number one B2B community platform is still Slack without any features, without Tightknit on top of it. And so we're like, what if we could take this sleeping giant and actually give it, your enterprise all-in-one community platform? And that's been very, resonant with a lot of B2B SaaS companies. And so that was kind of the origination of how Tightknit started.
It's an amazing story. And I have to say, like, I'll have to do some personal admissions here. This is my early community work in enterprise was on the Jive platform. But then the company that I was working with, the agency, became a partner of Salesforce and did a lot of Salesforce community implementations. And from my experience back at that time, 2016 or so, those were painful customizations. They were very painful.
I just want to call out this, Todd. I only built the best parts of the platform.
I believe it, man. I believe it. So like I have to admit, my reactions to Salesforce, have been, kind of blasé. I'm not as vocally, publicly critical of Salesforce community platform as some of my colleagues, have been in the past. But I don't love it. And then when Salesforce bought Slack, like you, I was sort of excited, like, hey, they're maybe going to integrate the goodness of these products, but what's going to happen to Slack? And oh my gosh, I also, this is my true confessions time. I also had some issues with Slack as a platform as well. I use Slack every day. It's up, it's part of my tech stack that I consciously use because I belong to maybe about 15 communities within that space. I don't generally recommend it as a community platform. And for a number of reasons, like this, rediscoverability is one of the big issues. Just the inability to, like, even though there's canvases and stuff up there, like I think most people miss those features a lot. And then the upgrade to the paid version just seems expensive, to deal with. And so whenever I've hosted communities on Slack in the past and they set up their 90-day rule, hey, we're cutting you off, at 90 days. I'm like, I threw up my hands and said, I can't stick around here. There's no persistence of content and it's difficult. So when I learned about Tightknit, I was kind of excited to know, like, well, what's your guys' take and how you do it? So coming into it, I'm laying cards on the table, man. You're my confessor. That I'm really interested to jump in and see how this ecosystem interacts.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. There's a lot to cover on that. That was a great. We hear it. Let me just start from the beginning on the community front. Salesforce is well aware that Community Cloud isn't funded anymore, and I have to kind of give you the backstory. Like when we were at Salesforce, the goal changed. At the time, right? Like the Khoros Gainsight competitive landscape turned into something very different for us internally. We ended up looking more at Adobe and more at Shopify and competing more on a broader platform play to kind of bridge together, not just community, but commerce, marketing, all the different stacks. And I think there was we essentially stopped funding Chatter, which is the digital forum side of it. And once you stopped that was really where the community side play kind of went to a standstill. And so now we work very closely with the Salesforce team and the Slack team to actually help a lot of these customers go, hey, I want to stay in the ecosystem. Like a lot of customers, and I'm sure you've run into many, they stay in the ecosystem. Salesforce and ecosystem is a strong gravity. And so we're helping a lot of them go, look, you just heard Salesforce and Slack say Slack is the future. You're on Chatter for your community. Let's move you over to a modern community stack still within the ecosystem. So we've been helping a lot of teams do that. That makes me feel good. One thing we did when we started this company, Todd, I said, we still have a rule, by the way. We have a rule that the entire implementation should take no longer than 10 minutes to set the thing up so that you could go and show it to your manager. And so that was the big push. I was like, look, I'm not going to be a 3-month, one Salesforce dev kind of setup. This is going to be quick. It's going to be clean and it's going to be easy and refreshing, really. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe, we have time today. Let's go through that setup because I want to show you how easy it is to set up a community. But then let's also jump back to why not Slack, right? So
It was challenge accepted. We're going to do it, man. We'll jump in and do
I
this.
have no doubt. Maybe I'll even make you do it. Maybe we'll flip the table here. But the reasons of not Slack, you're totally spot on, right? There's the 90-day message retention side of things. There is the pricing problem. And then there's the discovery problem. And so all three of these things are very much the ones that we had on the whiteboard and said, let's go tackle this. And so from a 90-day message retention, what we do is we form a digital kind of repository of all the conversations that you've had within the community. So while, yes, you're spot on, these conversations don't continue to live in Slack, you do have this kind of record of what has happened from a discovery element. So we also create an AI map and semantic understanding of all the content going on within the community so you can always search and find this content later on in the future. That's a really big win for a lot of teams. Then the pricing situation, we actually do two things. One is a lot of our customers are on the Slack free plan today. I'd say, probably a sizable majority, 60 to 70%. But the reason we have customers that aren't is because we now work very closely with the Slack team to get folks discounts on Slack. And so that's been a new kind of bridge we've been able to build. Is one of the difficult parts was, teaching. It's not so much, Salesforce isn't trying to charge too much for this. The problem is there's an education problem on the sales side, right? We have to go and teach Slack AEs and Salesforce core AEs how to sell Slack as a community stack today. And so we go and do that. We help our customers get substantial discounts. I can't give you those exact numbers, but let's say truly probably about a fourth of what they're probably offering you up front. And that's been able to help our customers see their future staying on Slack, working with Tightknit and so on.
I love that. So the upside to Salesforce is great because they can sell more of the community instances and they can realize revenue that they would not have otherwise seen.
And it goes back to Todd, you're in Slack, and you probably what we say is we're not a community platform for everybody. I stand by it. If you're building a community for dog walkers or chefs, probably not the right call. But if you're building a community for marketers and you're trying to get into their email inbox and you really think that that's going to be the way to interact with folks, I think you're missing the point, right? You want to meet your members where they are as closely as possible. Otherwise, you become more of a media brand. And it's okay to be a media brand, right? You can be a newsletter, you can do all that. But if you actually want to build a community, you have to get as close to your members as you can. And so marketers, sales, engineers, we live in Slack. And so you want to be someone's 9 to 5, not their 5 to 9. You want to find a way to say, hey, when you run into a problem at work, when you're trying to figure out X, Y, and Z with your boss, we're a click away, right? So how do you go from your employee workspace to your community workspace, ask the right question, and get those questions answered in real time because folks are living there as well and jump right back in. And that's really where the Slack community play goes so strong. Is we've also entered this conversational era where we also expect a lot of answers real time. And we want these, we try to be very careful about how we incorporate AI, but we still do make sure that AI is present for what I call transactional experiences. I need a problem I need to solve now versus, hey, I need a best practice. Who else is struggling with such X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I love that. And I definitely want to get into more of that discussion of the AI jagged frontier of what humans are good at versus what the AI is good at and how you've sort of put that philosophy into action, within Tightknit. That'll be really interesting to see. I want to get into the platform, but I just wanted to comment, one thing that you said, one of the upsides of Slack is that I think that so many business professionals recognize its usefulness and I'll call it the the semi-synchronous approach to interaction on that platform. yeah, you could do live back and forth chat, but it also supports sort of asynchronous interactions as well. Like I'll dip into some communities that I'm a part of, and I'll see what somebody posted 2 days ago, and I'll reply to them, and we'll have an asynchronous conversation that way. But sometimes if I'm talking to teammates, we have a live meeting, or we'll come together with a huddle or whatever. And so getting people into Slack is a lot easier sometimes than getting them onto another enterprise platform, or or a private social media space. Like if they're not familiar with it, or the metaphor, like or frequently I'll see like a lot of the many platforms, and I've cataloged over 140 now out in the marketplace. Many of them sort of adopt a Slack-esque experience, let's just call it that, where you have sort of like the left-hand navigation and the right panel chat window. Like that's become almost a lingua franca of community interactions, because it's powerful and it just works. But it's been those downside pieces that I don't think I'm expressing anything that I think a lot of other business leaders have expressed about the platform as well, which is why I felt comfortable bringing it up to you with that. So really great, man. Let's dive in. I know we've had maybe a little more preface than I wanted, but I think these were important things to sort of lay on the table to begin with.
Yeah, no, let's do it. And I'll be staring over here, but don't worry, you're right over there. Let's get into it. So what I love to start with, I love to always start with the actual public forum itself. And so what you're looking at right now is a Slack community. And I say that because all the content that's coming into this space is actually deriving from Slack threads, Slack channels, all the things you would want inside of your community space. And so, go for it.
Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to ask about this, and I promise I'm not going to keep interrupting you. But but so then does Tightknit here, what we're looking at, does it become sort of a system of record then for the community? Like a lot of my interactions are going to continue to be in the Slack interface, and then those things shift over here for more of a repository or record of conversations that have happened in the past.
I mean, I think that's definitely one way to look at it for sure. I would say we also have the ability to comment and post from the site. So we have a bi-directional sync between the web and Slack, and that's been a really powerful approach, especially for this. Let's imagine you have customers who don't have Slack at work. They're only on Teams, but they want to be part of this vibrant Slack community. Yeah. They're actually able to still participate because they can log in and actually jump into, say they jump into a thread and they'll actually respond inside of the commentary in here. So this one doesn't have it on, but we do have some customers where we do allow internally, like you can jump in and actually start responding, and people see that in Slack and it goes back and forth.
Nice. So if I'm in a Microsoft enterprise and I'm using Teams all the time, this is just me going to this website in my browser and interacting with the Slack experience, but through Tightknit.
Exactly. Right. So, and yeah, I mean, on top of that, right, we like to think of ourselves a little bit kind of as almost like a Reddit as a service in a way. So we're taking your community content and turning it into, for a lot of our customers, a public facing experience that can be searchable by Google, by AI, by all of the different systems. So let's test that out real quick. Let's jump into a very recent question. So we've got their Kappa AI bot. So we integrate with other AI services as well. Any bot you can have inside of Slack, we can integrate with and have it show up on the site. And I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's too long. I'm going to jump in. Let's do Perplexity. Let's ask it to summarize it for me.
Oh, sweet.
And actually explain what is going on. And so now I have the ability to actually better understand content at scale, while also supporting kind of AI, AEO, AIO, GEO, whatever we want to call it these days, all the different things.
And what are my options with AI there? What were on the drop down again? There was
we have ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, kind of the three big ones for search oriented things.
This is an interesting implementation because in some of the platforms that I've looked at, they'll have a baked in AI that's summarizing, but like this lets me go out to my favorite ones and use it.
Yeah, there's a reason. So we had this long conversation, and don't get me wrong, maybe one day we have your little AI bot, but realistically, there's a problem. Your customers have a setup on their preferred LLM that you want to approach. They have memory. I don't even need to say they. You have memory. I have pretty much everyone I'm speaking to in this is going to have one of these LLMs set up. It's going to have their memories. It's going to be connected to their connectors.
Yep.
Why would you not bring your community content to them rather than trying to make their content come to you, right? It goes right back, again, Todd, the number one rule we have, meet your members where they are. We don't try to compete with the platforms you love. We try to find ways to integrate with them and bring them to you. It is the better approach to bringing data to you than the other way around.
I love it. It's a low friction approach that I think will appeal to many people.
Yeah. And, on top of that, you can even embed this content. Let's say you wanted to take parts of your experience or parts of other communities and bring that into your own, right? And so you can actually take these embeddings and share them inside of your own product, inside of your website, inside of any part of the systems that you're trying to build. We have user groups, so we can break down by individual groups. Let's jump into Cerise here. You can see here she's part of the admins group. She's earned an award. We'll get into badges and gamification soon. But again, it goes back to that whole giving your members a space where they can actually have kind of their own view and look within the experience.
So quick question about the personal profiles there. As I'm looking at my entry, is that, so again, that's bi-directional with Slack then? So whatever I've created there for my profile in Tightknit will sync back into Slack as a system?
Exactly, yeah. And I actually don't have one on here. I bet it's on one of our other communities. You can actually sync the profile as well. So if you have your Slack profile fields, we actually do sync those as well. So you can actually see who's kind of showing up on the community.
That's great.
And then, in terms of actual views, so these all correspond with individual channels, but you have the ability to even turn them into kind of however you're thinking. So whether it's more of a snippet, like that Stack Overflow style, cards like a blog, or even a change log, you have the ability to decide how this first originally shows up for your customers. And then your customer can even choose how to present it themselves on the individual site as well.
That's what I was going to ask. So I have full autonomy as a member of this community to see that information in whatever format is most appealing to me.
Exactly. And let's say I don't want to see this very often. I can grab an RSS feed. I can even take all this content and I can pull it into Slack itself. So most people don't know Slack is a built-in RSS reader. We provide you a quick way to just go get all the Mixpanels announcements and actually follow along that way. So you can, again, I don't need to keep saying it, but meeting your members where they are is very much how we kind of take everything. We try to bring the content to your customer. So on top of that, the way that we operate, right? So this is Mixpanel's site. This is Clay's community. This is Vanta's community. This is Gamma's community. These are all digital experiences. You can notice they are branded. They have their own fonts. They have their own feeling. But one of the things that we learned from, again, Reddit has really taught us a lot is there is a downside to making very custom communities. And we try to push a lot of our customers away from that. You do have the ability to take a lot of our data and basically build your own and a lot of headless API technology. But the presence of being able to jump into a community and quickly understand wayfinding and know where to go cannot be understated enough. I think that is a massive, massive win. And I do so highly recommend folks try to keep things simple.
There's a vocabulary to community navigation, and it's a visual vocabulary. And I think that many people recognize that vocabulary from the Slack experience. And so having something that has that as a baked in user experience that you can't and probably don't want to mess with too much. I remember the early days of some of the enterprise communities I worked with that were hacked to pieces because they were, each company wanted to have their own little special tweaks to the interface and how it worked. And those things seldom work out well in the upgrade process.
Yeah. You're spot on. people they reach out to us and say, wow, that was so easy. From the end member perspective, we want to make it as simple as possible to find where you need to go. We find a lot of community managers want to create these really robust systems. There's a long-standing idea that you need your conversations, what we call above the fold. There's a lot of folks that want to create these big landing pages, and it takes about 2 or 3 clicks to get to a human discussion. And I think that is the wrong approach. I will admit, we are an opinionated platform. We come with a lot of opinions. It is not a fully flexible platform, and we do that very intentionally. We've taken what we see works and we bring it into the experience. And so some other big wins that we've recently launched, we launched our resource library. So now you can create resources, you can bring those together. They link out to kind of all sorts of other parts of your product, or you can even bring in past events, as well as even collections of content. So if you want particular pieces of content in a collection, you can create that as well. And this one doesn't have tags, but we also support tags as well. So you can create tags and filters for your individual pieces of content.
Nice.
So, on top of that, you kind of saw where I was going with events. We also support events. So these are all past events. I think Vanta had a few upcoming events. So you can actually have folks create an event calendar. It links out to your Luma, it links out to, Bevy, it links out to all systems that you're kind of already using. And then when you're done with the event, we create, again, that content resource library of all the different events that you're trying to have. And what's amazing about it is because we're tied into the digital forum, I can actually go see who these individuals are, what badges they've earned, what they've actually said about in the community. And so it really bridges back that whole experience inside of one single forum.
Really nice. And so events, I know you said you link out to other event management platforms like Luna or Bevy or any of these others. Do you have a direct integration with like Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that people can have? And then do those recordings just go automatically out here, or do they need to be re-uploaded for a past event if I want it?
So, it is the dream on the automatic upload that is hopefully going to happen probably by the end of this year. But we do have an integration with Zoom. So for Zoom, nice. If you want to set up a webinar, and actually Tightknit stocks. So we have a pretty extensive documentation site as well, but I've been working a lot to help our team with guides. And this is a guide that I haven't even announced yet, but I went through every setting in all of Zoom and said, what is the best way to set up a Zoom template for creating kind of experiences with your customers, and answered why you would do certain things. So I definitely recommend, if you're interested, you can go and see what I chose for each of these different experiences. Took a lot of screenshots and how to actually kind of set this up so you can build the best experience for your customers. So really useful if you're doing Zoom meetings as their setup. We are a Google Meet company, but we use Zoom for our webinars. Google Meet is not very easy to set up for kind of webinars and such. It just does not have an extensive API whatsoever. But we have some customers today. So here, I will jump into it in a moment inside of Slack. But we have customers that are registering for these Zoom webinars inside of Slack with a one-click registration. So nice. We have, as a good example, the Contrarian Academy. So this is Cody Sanchez, big business influencer focused on kind of buying and selling, small businesses and building that side hustle. She has a community called Contrarian Thinking, or Contrarian Thinking Academy. And so inside of that Slack, they have about 1,500 members that register for events inside of Slack using our one-click registration. And so that's how we actually get them into these Zoom templates. We're the full kind of registration side of things. However, we also, because of our webhooks and APIs, we can again integrate into any event stack today and push that data as well into additional CRMs, additional databases, and so on.
Really nice. Really nice. I don't want to deflect us down too many rabbit holes here because I want to have time to do the setup from scratch that we talked about at the beginning of the video here. But I'm interested in a couple of different areas, and if there's any you want to comment on, I'll just kind of mention them here. I'm definitely interested in understanding sort of risk, governance, analytics, gamification. I know you alluded to badges a couple of times. and then any automation, kind of tools that are available too.
Yeah. So from let's cover those. So we're SOC 2, we're ISO 27001, GDPR, CCPA. We take compliance very seriously, and security for that matter. So I mean, actually, this is a good lead up. So we have one of our customers is Wiz, arguably one of the largest cybersecurity startups in the world, and now Google. So when we were actually helping them get set up, a lot built around security in this front. So this is 3,000 of your top national security directors and CISOs that are in the community, kind of collaborating about Wiz, items and topics. And one of the big wins that we were able to, work with the team on is actually creating, SAML and OIDC based login and custom SSO for their Wiz community. So we can actually log customers in using Wiz as a login. We can also, which is really cool. So let's say I was part of Wiz itself. I can do one click from in the app, push the customer into the community, no additional login. And so that ability to kind of create those frictionless experiences while remaining secure, remaining authenticated, that's like been a very big part of our stack. You asked us some other good questions about gamification, and remind me the other one, Todd.
Analytics, automation.
Good transition. Let's jump into analytics. Love analytics. So this is our studio. And welcome to the inside of the Tightknit Community Studio, where you can track engagement over time. Mind you, this is actually my community. So welcome to my real data behind the scenes. You can see, I mean, Todd, you're even a member of our community. So you are probably somewhere in this engagement stack as well, right? And so we can jump in, watch member growth over time, what days were kind of stickier than others. As well as really how folks are interacting within the space, replies, discussions, engagement. I can jump in and actually start seeing our top channels, but also who's our most active members and how they're growing, rising stars, falling stars, time to first response, response rate. One of my favorite features is the ability to filter out your team. This is constantly a problem for a lot of customers, and we can actually filter out not just the people that are admins, but actually anybody with the Tightknit email. So if you have 1,000 employees and many of them are in your community, we can filter those folks out. So now I can actually get a much higher level view of who's the most active and in the space.
This is really great. And I'll interject again, my editorial as a strategist. This was another one of the reasons that that Slack had been problematic, because getting a good analytic data from Slack itself is not wonderful. So having something like this that is ingesting all the information from Slack and giving you this kind of readout, this is what I would expect of a standalone community platform to have, like a good analytics console piece. And this looks very flexible. I like it a lot.
Love that. I mean, I won't stop there. There's more. I'll do the whole Billy Mays, because I think it keeps going, right? We also want to look at the forum. These are anonymous viewers. These are folks that are not members of the community. We have a public-facing community, so I can actually go and see how we're performing page views-wise, where people are coming in from, their entry pages, even where in the world that they're actually coming through. And so this gives me kind of that high-level view of being able to better understand, like, where are folks coming and how are we performing on Google. And then we added a brand new feature. This one's one of my new favorites, called AI Insights. It actually clusters and categorizes the discussion topics and gives you opportunity and risk signals based on what folks are asking about and talking about. Good example. I mean, we had a little small issue with scheduling on polls a few weeks ago. And so there were a few folks that are running into poll scheduling problems, and that shows up now on my map. And you can see that orangish color here that's telling me, oh, this is a risk. And then in terms of professional networking, a lot of folks come into our community just to meet others, get a job, share jobs, meet each other. And so I think that's been a really big part of our kind of growth strategy, is bringing community people together to really just explore what's next.
I often ask about how you're pushing the envelope with your platform. This to me is, I think, a net new application of AI from the many of the platforms that I've seen. And so, like, not to say that I've seen them all, because I absolutely haven't, but I think the expression of this report the value of understanding visually what the conversation volumes look like, and about sort of red zone versus green zone, like what, like some kind of sentiment tracking or opportunity tracking around these. This is new, and this is a value driver, I think, for customers.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be, so one of the use cases I think that we've started to realize, let's say you have a long-standing 5-year-old community and you have a new community manager join. It's very hard to get what they're supposed to know, right? You have to take some time to figure out what's going on in the community, give it time. And now you can kind of jump in and go, oh, these are the conversation topics I should be looking out for and exploring.
Totally agree.
And don't worry, we have 15 minutes, which gives me plenty of time to set up a brand new community. So we're going to keep going, but I want to just quickly show a little bit of our settings in terms of the ability to set up webhooks, API keys. We do support Slack Connect, although I never really recommend it. You can actually have Slack Connect in the community. And then a lot of different updates on our branding and appearance and the login page. So you can create kind of experiences on the homepage, on the login page. Again, very much clicks, not code. We don't have a login page for our community, so this is not set up, but you can actually set up all the different kind of things you would need for your login, similar to Wiz, or let's even jump to the Zephy community, which I love their login screen. So this is a combo public with a login experience so that folks can actually post. So I can actually click login, log in onto the Zephy community. You can see here they've added some branding to the right-hand side. And so now I can actually jump in and then participate in the community itself. All right. We haven't even shown Slack yet. So I'm going to jump real quick into Slack, show the behind the scenes, and then we'll actually do the final setup, and it should take no more than 5 minutes. So let's jump into Slack. This is our supercharged Slack app. So as an admin, we also want to meet your admins where they are. We want to be where your customers are actually living. So whether it's setting up the community, adding new groups and user permissions, setting up that companion forum even from in Slack, creating new events. So what an event looks like in Slack, it looks a lot like this: a big structured piece of content with actions that update based on the time of the event. So whether it's view recording or register is based on the time of that event. And then when it's all done and over, we send recaps. This is a big one. So how many folks get, hey, did you record this? And can I get the recording? Now, if folks had clicked register and they can't make it, we send those as DMs to people so that they get the event recap and you don't need to ask for it anymore. Nice. So a really big win for a lot of folks as well. And then if I jump back to Tightknit, our gamification stack is really powerful in terms of you have the ability to create these kind of journeys that allow you to achieve different milestones. So whether it's posting in a channel, sending a reaction, signing up for an event, you can actually earn badges and awards all inside of Tightknit. And we have a new one as well, which is LinkedIn certifications. We can do one-click event certification, one-click LinkedIn certifications from in Slack. So we've seen a lot of teams start to certify their ambassadors just because they don't, there's no extra login. And that's one of the biggest wins. You just can now do it all from inside of Slack and give out these awards and badges. So quick one, maybe I'll show like how Tableau uses it to power their data fam. And so their data fam, as they go and contribute and participate, they're able to kind of earn these badges and awards. I didn't mention, they probably should have, but Salesforce is a customer of ours. So we're supporting the SalesBlazer community. And so this only speaks to how Salesforce is starting to move in the right direction of bringing people into Slack as the community platform. But in SalesBlazer, I've got what we call Community Home. This is what our members see. You saw that admin panel. They don't see that. When they click on this, they see this kind of customized experience for them. So whether it's their upcoming achievements, their journeys that they're a part of. So this is actually how they power kind of all the different journeys and the milestones that they need to contribute and participate in order to earn those badges. And then when I jump back, let's jump back to Tightknit, kind of close it off. We've got our onboarding messages. So the ability to send a message as yourself when you first join. So if you ever join the Tightknit community, you'll get a message from me about 2 minutes in. I do always like to respond to folks when they kind of respond to me, but this is a 24-hour job. And so it's how do I keep the engagement going as folks join the space? And then polls has been a big one because, hey, why not throw a polls app that also, and this is a big one as well, syncs to your CRM. So we have a Salesforce connection that takes all of your community data and helps you with attribution.
Nice.
It's nothing better than attribution to keep your job as a community manager. So, all right, I'll close it off. We've got our developer stack. Oops, I'm scrolling on this screen. The developer stack. APIs, webhooks, you can update individual channels and feeds and those configurations all through inside of Slack itself. I love to show mixed panels community because what we do is a lot of case deflection. So everyone loves good case deflection. We impersonate the mixed panel community here as the Tightknit bot. We come in, we let them know that the post was the post was published publicly. Say that 3 times fast. And then we also surface related discussions that might help that customer answer their question based on the question that they were asking inside of the community forum. So again, it goes well past that 90 days, and we actually can resurface that using kind of our AI embeddings. So, all right, let's set one up. We got 10 minutes. Who would ever think that you could set up a community in 10 minutes? Let's go do a brand new one.
That's crazy.
We're going to call Todd, I think I'm going to set up your community. You ready? We're going to set the Clocktower. I'm going to set up a Clocktower community right now. So let's.
Do you have a pro services team that helps new customers get onboarded?
We do, and we also have consultants that we work with that we also help at all levels of both price and ability. And so if like teams are looking to kind of get up and running, we will certainly help, but it's always cheaper to send them out to kind of our community of consultants and experts. Sure. So, all right, we ready? I'll give this to you after. Don't worry. I'm in 400 plus communities, so if you need this one, this is all yours. So, we're gonna call this Clocktower. We're gonna set this up. I'm gonna give it my name. We're going to wait half a second. Then that skip this step shows up. We're going to set this up just with me for now. We're going to start with the Slack free. Again, if you end up wanting to go to pro, do reach out to us. If you're a customer, we do help kind of negotiate with the Slack team. And we're going to get going. And so now we've actually already set this up. One piece of advice I always give every community, take your general channel, go into settings and switch the posting permissions to admins only. You get one of these channels in a free workspace. Very important to do this early on so you don't forget later. From a naming advice, I always like to go with from Clocktower or announcements, whatever, kind of floats your boat. And that's really the biggest, most important update. That is one of those that you should make early on. But now we're going to actually set up Tightknit. And so we'll go to Tightknit itself. We'll click add to Slack. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just put in your name, Todd, but I'll put in my email. And the 3 things we need to make sure. 1, is this separate from your team's employee workspace? Important.
Yep.
2, am I an admin of this workspace? And then 3, are there fewer than 10 apps? And then we agree to the terms of service and privacy policy. And let's get that started. I will admit that I'm in so many communities that I might need to, let's see if it actually gets it right. It does not. So let's see if we have it here. Perfect. Doesn't always work for me. I break Slack a lot because I'm in too many. So we're going to click allow.
I thought I had a lot, but you've got occupational hazard. I'm sure you've got dozens.
It's getting to a point where it is very difficult for me to show. So we're not going to open Slack for now. We're going to just keep doing it from the browser. Okay. I'll give that a little refresh. And we've got Tightknit right here. So we've got this brand new Tightknit app. All right, let's go ahead and see how quick we can get this set up. The Tightknit Hub was just set up for us. So this is actually a space for our team to actually participate in, like, knowing who joined, events that were just posted, and so on. We'll click getting started. This is usually when folks aren't in the room with me, but I always recommend to star the Tightknit app and how to jump between the home and messages tab. That's a big one. You'll see kind of 2 tabs here. And we're going to go and create a new companion site. So what I like to say is green is good. So we're going to keep going. We're going to create this new Clocktower Tightknit community. We're going to set up a brand new channel. We are going to select that from Clocktower channel right there. We'll click submit. Now we're going to go ahead and create a brand new feed. So we're going to take that channel and we're going to push it to the site. So we're going to click green again. Everything is configurable after the fact, which makes things nice and easy to get things up and started. So I'll jump in here. Let's say, okay, hey, Todd, what did you have for breakfast this morning? I had cereal while Todd got to watch me at the beginning of this whole demo. Lucky him. All right, so I just made that brand new post. We're going to jump into our brand new community with an AI-powered post that just went live. Now everything is configurable from here. Congrats, you have a brand new community space.
That was an instant sync over to the platform. Really nice. Okay.
And there you go. You have now something to show your team, and you're set up for getting started.
Really cool. So I wanted to ask you, so I asked a little bit earlier about professional services team. Do you have companies or organizations that are migrating over from another platform? Have you ever done any kind of content migrations into Tightknit?
I mean, certainly. I would say there's a certain platform that we can all agree is exploding in the sunset. That one has been moving over in droves. We are seeing some of the largest B2B SaaS organizations leaving that platform and moving a lot. And here's how I kind of put it, Todd. Like, a lot of them could have said, let's go to something similar. There's a lot of platforms that I would argue are very similar to this platform in some ways. Yeah. At least in terms of look, feel, and kind of execution. They're saying, okay, we're paying a lot of money. Were we getting the same results that we wanted? So actually, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my favorite communities, the new Snap Logic community, which moved within a few weeks and without virtually telling anybody. They barely sent any announcements. Hundreds of members saw it, joined, and started to participate immediately after moving from. And one of the crazy funny things, Todd, is their head of marketing was SVP of marketing at, and so they went. So basically, the SVP of marketing now works at SnapLogic as CMO. They were like, let's look for a net new platform. Let's find something that's going to actually help us move the needle, and not something that's showy that we can kind of bring to execs.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. So yeah, I mean, as you had alluded, there are a lot of people migrating away from that particular enterprise platform. And
by the way, I'm going to come back to you. Is that good? Is there anything more that I should show?
No, that's great to know. So just knowing that you've managed some of those large scale sorts of migrations and implementations is quite interesting. Just to ask, I always kind of wind up with some of these money questions that come through. How's the company funded? Are you guys bootstrapped? Do you have private equity, anything like that? Like how are you making all of this come to life?
Yeah, I mean, I can say this. We raised a very small amount of money from friends and family for cash flow. We now have double that amount of money in the bank, and we're bootstrapped, profitable, and growing. And so I can say this also, like when we saw the market and the way it kind of was turning against communities, mostly because they overfunded themselves, they outreached, what they thought was kind of possible, and then they had to lay off a ton of people. We said, let's take a very different approach. Let's be small, nimble, and grow sustainably so that our customers know we're going to be around. I think one of the key things that was very interesting is we stopped hearing, oh, you're too small for us, as soon as a 1,000-person company disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
How can you and I don't want to hurt any other community platforms, but there are PE-backed community platforms still. There are ones that raised a lot of VC funding. And so we are, as far as I know, the only sustainable, profitable community platform out there today.
You guys, I mean, I think running lean in a constrained environment for buyers is how you survive through a difficult time, and it sounds like you're thriving through that. That's really great to hear. Congratulations on a strategy that seems to be succeeding really well. So and then the other side of the money question is like, hey, I'm running a community platform. I'm thinking about going to a new space. Tightknit looks interesting to me. I like that. I like the Slack connection and sort of the integration with the Salesforce world. What am I looking at as an outlay for like an average community implementation? And I know that's an awful question to ask, but like,
when you say outlay, give me like, what are the metrics I should give you?
Like an order of magnitude for me to set up a community, using Tightknit. Am I looking at 4, 5, 6 figure, software licensing fee to make this happen is my big question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I think we are lowest of low plans. Let's say you're a solopreneur. Let's say you're setting something up. We have a $200 a month plan that gets you started and up and running. And we have a lot of customers, these big ones that get started with that, taste the platform, as I would say, and then go, oh, okay, I want to go and upgrade to our Momentum tier, which starts at $500 a month, and then our Enterprise tier, which then folks come talk to me, but is still going to be, and I guarantee it, less than your largest of community stacks. And so we help folks get set up in kind of all categories, but I would say that it starts from that 3 digits and works its way. I mean, realistically, yes, it does work its way up to the 6 digits. So we do have some deals that are in those categories, and so we're able to kind of basically build the platform that you need.
And that's based largely on active members within the community. Is that sort of the sliding scale?
That's one of the biggest. I would say the other active measure is like from a security perspective, the a la carte options for connecting to the CRM or, having a lot of emails and integrations like that. So we have additional kind of metrics that we can tie into.
Okay.
But I would say the biggest kind of growth over time is definitely number of members.
Cool. And then, am I looking at like, I've got a layout for both Slack and Tightknit to make that work? Is that
it depends, right? So we have a lot of customers on the Slack free plan.
Oh, like you said, right. Yes.
So I would say it's a collaborative choice. So it's one of those where there are definitely benefits. We have features that only work with the Slack Pro plan. And so it's really this question of like, okay, what is the experience? What am I also able to get through IT? And we work with your procurement team to actually like show them how this works, why this is secure, how this is set up, and so on. Yep. And so, yeah, that's also part of that enterprise stack, is working with your team directly, working with brand, working with IT, and actually helping them get set up, and also working with potentially your chosen consulting partner. Yep. That's also going to be helping you get this going as well.
That's amazing. I mean, Zach, this has been a really great chance to get a glimpse at what Tightknit can do. I'm sure we've missed things that we didn't get a chance to talk about. But for anybody that is interested in learning a little bit more, I'm just going to add up here a handy dandy QR code for anybody that wants to scan this and get in touch with Zach, or you can just go to tightknit.ai, right? That's the
and join our community, right? I think that's also one of the best ways. Like Todd, you join, right? It's community.tightknit.ai, and that's a great space to find a bunch of B2B SaaS community managers, and also I should mention professional creators, right? So folks that are building these Slack-based spaces where that is part of the business that they're running.
I think that's incredible. Really, really great to hear. And I think, like, for me, big takeaways here. If you're on the Salesforce stack, if you've got, your members or your users, your customers are Slack users, this is a no-brainer to have the Tightknit community, as part of that mix, and being able to enable them, get better metrics, have better engagement, have a repository that is going to be there for you to serve the community over time. Really, really nice to see what you've built here, Zach. Congratulations to you and your team for building a neat product.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Todd. And yeah, also, if anyone knows some incredible engineers, please send them our way, especially folks that are interested in the community world, where we are always looking and hiring for top engineering talent.
That's great. So I think that's it, everybody. Was there a question that I didn't ask that is on your mind about the Tightknit platform? If so, please drop a question down in the doobly-doo here. We'll be happy to try to answer it for you to the best of our knowledge. And if I don't know the answer to it, I will certainly lob it over to Zach and make him aware of it in the Tightknit community as well, so that we can jump out and have that conversation. In the meantime, please take the time to close the laptop, get outdoors, breathe in the fresh air, feel the sun on your face. Spring is here at the time that we're recording this. Get out there and enjoy the good weather, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't build great communities. And that's what we're all about here on the Talk About Your Community show. Hope that you, if you like this, that you will subscribe, that you will comment, you will share this with your friends. If you're in the process of looking for a new viable community platform, I hope that you check out some of the other videos in this series so that you can pick the right one for your use case and sort of where you are, what your business or organization happens to need. So with that, we'll go ahead and close here. Zach, thank you again for the wonderful overview.
Thank you, Todd. This was fun.